What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Game Awards one more time. This is the last time I'm talking about the award show itself. I do want to talk about some of the games that we saw and kind of do more deep dives into them. That's really going to start after this video on my second channel, etc. Okay, we're going to go into that. But I want to talk about two kind of news stories that have been floating around since the show ended, two controversies, and give you my thoughts on them. So one of them was the lack of time for the winners to say anything, and there's a whole kind of story with that. We'll go over it. The second one is the idea of gaming still, for whatever reason, being dependent on Hollywood, and there is an interesting intersection between both of these things where they kind of influence each other. So let's talk about the first thing first, the cutoff. So here's what I think happened. I think Jeff got very, very worried because of last year. I almost think, and not necessarily his fault, like he did it maliciously, but I think Chris Judge may have broken Jeff Keighley in that department. I also wasn't a huge fan of Chris taking, 8 minutes to do an award speech. I think that is way too long, and, we'll get into that as this video goes, but I think there was a huge overcorrection to that, right? Now, with that being said, what Chris did at this show, the joke at Call of Duty, that dig, and it's making actually some Call of Duty developers very mad. These people have no sense of humor, can't take a joke. I think that was actually like the craziest, one of the crazier things that happened at the Game Awards. That was awesome. So actually let him stay up on stage and just roast things for like 8 minutes. That would actually be fine. But no, okay. So I really think that caused Jeff to panic and say, we can't do this. We have a budget of time, and we can't let people spend 8 minutes. Now, I'll also throw in my personal opinion here where I'll say, and this could be controversial, I do not think these people need to thank every single person and their mother. In fact, maybe more controversially, when Ricky Gervais went up and he insulted all of Hollywood and he said, come up here, thank your agents, thank your God, and get off. We don't need to hear your politics. I gotta be honest, I kind of agree with that 1,000%. I think that's why generally the average Joe, and there are actually many average Joes that do watch the Oscars and for whatever reason care, but I think that is an incredibly good point. People do not care generally what these people have to say about their political leanings or what they ate for breakfast yesterday or whatever weird story they're going to tell on stage. Now, there is a flip side, right? It is, I think, worthy, and it should be something that they do where they do thank the people that allowed them to get there. I think that's a part that's kind of missing from the Game Awards, as has been said, online, where these people go up, you got 30 seconds, and that's what was reported. They got 30 seconds to say stuff, and then the teleprompter would say, basically cut it short, be done. Be done as quickly as you possibly can now, please, and leave the stage. And again, I get not wanting to be up there for 5, 6, 7 minutes. I think Chris Judge was on there too long by a mile. I think everybody kind of knew that. And I like the guy a lot. He actually seems like a very chill, nice guy. But he also talks very slow, and the way he talks and spaces out his words, it dragged. It, no doubt, no matter how much you love him or maybe you don't love him, truly doesn't matter. That speech was way too long. So I absolutely understand not allowing these people to stand up and thank everybody they've ever met, but maybe thanking 10 to 15 people, maybe telling a very quick 1.5 minute story of, hey, here's how the game came to be, or thank you to the fans. I understand we're there in a sense. We're not there fully, but we're there in a sense to celebrate the creators of these games. You could say, well, Alex, the entire point should be to celebrate them. Kinda, but because most of the show is about the exclusives and the world premieres and stuff, it's not actually about the awards, even though they say it is. I think my viewpoint is at least valid. Okay, so that's what I would throw in. That's my own 2 cents. Allow them to stay up on stage a little while longer. Don't cut them off after 30 seconds. That's way too short, right? 30 seconds, because it does go into part 2, and I'm trying to delay part 2 because I want to give my thoughts on this and then jump over. But it does lean into the next thing where you talk about time management. I said, I made the joke, right? Jeff has a time budget and he has to stick with it. The issue is they are terrible, abysmal at time management at these shows. So when you argue for them staying on stage longer, it's a pretty good argument because it's like, yeah, you don't want everybody on there for 5 minutes each. That would push it way too long, right? So maybe like 45 seconds, maybe a minute instead of 30, right? Double it, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you do that for 15 awards, well, you've added now 6, 7, 8 minutes if you just double the time from 30 to 60 seconds, right? So you don't even add 15 minutes to the show. This show was long. This specific one that we're talking about was very, very long, and it had a lot of fluff. Now, you could argue the games, because, again, as I said yesterday, some games that are going to stand out for me aren't going to stand out for you, and vice versa. It's hard to argue about that subjectivity, in terms of like judging a game. That's very difficult. But one thing you can judge, I think, and be more objective is, what about the 500 ads? Could you have found a way to do that a little bit better? Did you need the Muppets? Like, is that something that is so important as a running gag? And spoilers, it's not. Did you really need to keep doing that? And people were leaning into this. Like, Jeff has been getting, and I like Jeff Keighley a lot. I'm very hard on the guy because I think he is very much tapped into the average gamer, and I think that's a good thing. And then sometimes he just flat out doesn't show it. But I think he does know his stuff very, very much. But I've seen a lot of people going after him where it's like there's a Simu Liu kind of, maybe meme that you guys have seen online where, you let a guy with a broken foot, he talks for like 5 minutes. He does a stand-up routine, but then you don't have the Game of the Year winner, can't even thank more than 2 or 3 people before they're, ushered off the stage. That's very true. Now, I'll come back to that, but you have, like, Simu Liu has definitely been a, thing. Well, what about any of them? What about any of the freaking celebrities? What about the Muppet? Like, do we need these 2-minute sketches? If you take these 2-minute sketches out, then you have 2 more minutes to divvy up somewhere else. You don't even necessarily have to end your show 2 minutes early. You could just give it out somewhere else if you want to keep the same length. Also, I think they went over. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this was the longest show. I feel like it's normally under slightly, like 250, 255. This was, I think, 3 hours and 17 minutes or something like ridiculous. It was long. I think it was the longest show. That could be wrong. It felt the longest show, so I'll say that at least. But, if you're going to do that, and I did see tweets of that too, if you're going to make us sit there for almost 3.5 hours, just round up to 3.5 hours and let these people talk. So that continues, I guess, that discussion of letting people, like, at least thank the necessities, right? Look, again, like, I don't want to be lectured to at the Game Awards. I don't want to hear what these people had for dinner yesterday. I don't want to hear, but I do want to hear maybe a cool behind-the-scenes story of how something came to be in the game that wound the game up at the Game Awards. Or, again, maybe thanking the fans, saying, hey, and some of them did. Not everybody did, though, but maybe you thank the fans along with your development team. Like, that is important. That is important, and you should say that. And I mean, I guess I don't blame the people who didn't thank certain people because, again, they didn't have the time. Now, again, this directly goes into part 2 because I do want to talk about this over-reliance on Hollywood. So there was I think it was from Roger Clark, I think that was the guy's name, and he did a tweet earlier today that I saw where it's like, why does the gaming industry feel like they are still kind of beneath? And this is true. And I'm very glad that tweet is somewhat blowing up because it's such a freaking good tweet. The idea that why does gaming, and specifically I think in this way, Jeff Keighley, I feel like it's him. Why do they believe that they need Hollywood to help us out? Why can't we be taken seriously on our own? Well, it's I actually saw some pretty disturbing things going on Twitch today, like on Twitter. Maybe that's why people don't take gaming seriously. There's a lot of reasons why gamers aren't taken seriously where Hollywood is. But generally, and this is a true thing, gaming's bigger. Gaming, and I'm saying this flat out right now to your face, gaming does not need Hollywood. In fact, Hollywood needs gaming. If you're going to try to like get an untapped market or get people to like get your thing, if you're gaming, you are not going after the people that watch Dune 2 or watch Shang-Chi, I guess, right? Like you are not going after those people to pull them into. In fact, leave them alone. Some of them I don't even want coming over here, okay? But it's actually the reverse. Statistically, speaking here, Hollywood is literally the one dying. Hollywood has multiple bomb after bomb after bomb. Some of the biggest studios in Hollywood, WB, Disney, they're losing billions yearly. These companies have no idea what they're doing. People are leaving Hollywood in terms of like watching movies and television. The streaming services, Disney Plus, it constantly loses money. I'm not saying this to necessarily put them down. In fact, like, okay, I am in a way, but my main point, let's prop gaming up. I'm here as like a gaming creator. I love games. Always have, always will. That's what I want to do, okay? Can we, like, again, be taken seriously? Can we not stand on our own 2 feet? And this is why, like, well, this isn't the only reason, but, like, I never want to go to the Game Awards. Why would I want to be around these people that don't even take themselves seriously and need the Simu lose? Why in God's name do you have these? The Timothy Chalamet, however you say his last name, why are these people here? I understand some of them could be gamers. The Matthew McConaughey, hey, he's in a game. I think that almost, again, though, kind of illustrates, like, the issue. Like, why do you need Matthew McConaughey? Truly. And let me say something. Let me kind of, expand that line of thinking. Do you really think, and this is a dead serious question, this Exodus game, right, looks pretty okay. It looks a little generic sci-fi, but it's got some incredible talent behind it. It might be a new kind of Mass Effect thing, so hey, I'm all for that, and I want to see that succeed, okay? But that, I believe Exodus was the game that, Matthew McConaughey's in. Okay, well, it doesn't even matter. Well, do you really need to say he's in the game? Did you need him to go up on stage to announce it? Who are you getting extra? People that were not interested in the game, but now are interested in the game. Who are you getting because of Matthew McConaughey? The answer is probably extremely few. Extremely few. We are here for the games. You need to treat us as like we're all part of the same community. We're here. Jeff freaking says this in the beginning. We're here for games. We're here because games do things that nothing else can do. Movies are inferior to games. Now, that is subjective, but when you're in the gaming community and you're rooting for games and you're a part of this, that's how you, like, that's the way that it is. You know what I mean? So it's almost like you're playing for the home team, right? This is our team, gaming. In fact, Jeff literally says in the beginning, gaming is the best. Our team is the best. Our team does things no other teams can do. So what are we going to do? I'll show you. We're going to bring players from the other teams to show off the players from our team. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And, like a sports analogy maybe is not the best way of explaining that, but I kind of feel like I did an okay job there, right? Why in God's name would you pump up your own home team to then get people from a different team that you just said they're not the same, and in fact, they're kind of worse? Now, that's my own personal, I think movies are not as good as games. I'm a gamer. That's my thing. But also, when you're at the Game Awards, it's for games. Gaming is the most important thing in that room on that night. There's no excuse for anything else. So when you say that in your opening statement, and that is why we're all here, is to celebrate not movies, not Hollywood, gaming. One night a year, gaming. And then you have to bow down and kiss the feet and rely on The Rock of the world. Show off Fallout TV show. Again, in past things, Gamescom, the Game Awards, you get The Rock to show off a movie, or Black Adder, or whatever. Sonic started as a game, but again, it's like, well, why are we showing the movie? Like, the gaming is the most important part. It doesn't make sense. So I've definitely taken this much further, I think, than what the internet has, at least from what I've seen, but I'm fed up with it too. And I've been fed up with it for a long time because I've constantly spoken out against my almost hatred for a lot of people in Hollywood. I think they're fake. I think they are all part of the same weird cults that are just kind of weird. Like, I've said this over and over on the channel, and now I guess people are kind of recognizing it. I feel like the sentiment online is literally, a little bit at least of what I've said in this video, where why is the medium that is statistically bigger? Gaming is literally the biggest. It makes more money than Hollywood. It makes more money than music. I mean, that's like a fact. Gaming is the biggest of the mediums of Hollywood, music. Gaming is the biggest. So why do we rely on everything but the games? And I think the Matthew McConaughey point, hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. I hope that's like a good point. The games should speak for themselves because we're in our own bubble. You shouldn't need Matthew McConaughey to jump in and say, hey, here's this Hollywood guy who's going beneath him to now do a video game. And that's generally how they see it. Did you not, like, and he seems like a fine guy, but did you hear how he talked? Like, he talks it up. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but I actually think this is generally how most see it. The way he talks, oh, this is my first game. When they pitched it to me, I thought, oh, this was a cool opportunity to jump into gaming. No. It should be an honor. This is actually better than what you normally do. That's how it should look if you're going to do that. If not, don't go on stage. Leave. Simu Liu, hey, instead of doing a comedy routine, don't be on stage. Don't make it seem like you're one of us. And maybe you are to some degree, but we don't need that. So, I don't know. Like, for me, I am fed up with it. I don't need this. And I think gaming can speak for itself. You could have nobody of any impact in GTA 6 that's a Hollywood star. Nobody. GTA 6 will be the biggest thing on planet Earth, period. Bigger than any movie, bigger than any TV show, bigger than any musician. Taylor Swift? I love Taylor Swift. Bigger than you. Any movie star, any TV star, bigger. And it could have nobody of importance that you've ever heard of because it's about the game. And yes, that is the biggest example. There's nothing bigger than GTA, but you're constantly shown through games every year. That's the whole point. We're going to the Game Awards to celebrate these. You do not get Alan Wake in a movie. You do not get Marvel Spider-Man 2 in a movie. You maybe get close, but you don't get it. You don't get the full. Now, again, like there's some subjectivity there. Maybe you don't like Spider-Man 2 all that much. Maybe you like Baldur's Gate more. Maybe you like Starfield more. Maybe you like Jedi Survivor more. But you can't get those in movies. So let's stop the act where we have to like borrow them and say, hey, can we like have a little Hollywood endorsement? Why should we care? And why does Jeff care? And why does the panel care? Whoever makes this decision, why do they care about this so much? I think it's because they think that we're inferior. They think games are still beneath Hollywood, where they have to come down to our level and that we need them for some reason to prop us up. That's a lie. That is not true at all. And those people need to be shunned and need to be fired. Immediate. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Jeff Keighley himself. If he believes that, get out. Truly, because you're not an ambassador for gaming, if that's the way you think. You're not. So, yeah, I am fed up, and I am done. And I actually got a whole lot more mad in this video than I thought I was, but here we are. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.